Dude. Keep missing one. And that's what you want to avoid. We'll cover that in a jiffy. Alright, I think that's enough footage for anyone who wants to just view that for a while. So how do we go about this? This is the new zombie grind by JC. Oh, damn it. So always, like the first whip should always be by jumping and landing. That's just saving frames generally. The final hit should always be from holy water. Also, again, saving frames generally. Always collect the hearts, even if it's blanks. If you don't collect them, the zombies won't respawn, so you have to actually collect them. Obviously, don't get hit. Now, I whip kill these, because that is by far the safest method. Keep that in mind. This is the visual here. Now, the right side does not have a visual, just collect the hearts. On the kill animation frame, on the furthest most right zombie, just walk to that animation, collect a heart or non-heart, whatever. But you need to at least get that far. But there's no general visual cue otherwise for how far you need to go on the right side. But there's a visual for the left side, and this is it. Head and feet inside this black area here, and that visual is to make sure that the zombie is coming from the left. Damn it. Alright, and so you can see here now, if I jump too early, like that is fucking early, you will get a feeling for that. You will only get 2 zombies. So you need to be pretty precise here. Like that. And you'll get 3 of them. So that's what you want. Rinse and repeat. See, I even walked like a little bit further to the left there, and you know, it still won't really matter too much. A couple of frame saving tricks that you can keep in mind. So you can kill them with holy water. It's so much harder to do so though. The timing for it is pretty obnoxious, quite frankly, especially if you want that third zombie. Let's see if we can actually get a better example here. But you can kill those, even the 3 clusters there, with a water toss. As such, that is actually faster than whipping 4 times, but it is a little bit tricky to get that final zombie there hit with the holy water. Another thing you can do to save frames is try to get yourself closer, like as you whip, just take a few steps closer. Something like that. And get everyone in the process, obviously. If they get too close, you can always hold the water. We're talking top level here, like saving as many frames as possible, resulting in longer grind time, if you want to really optimize the grind itself. You know, you can take a few steps, like during whipping as such. But the easiest method by far is just by whipping. And occasionally toss out another holy water there, if one of them escapes. It's generally a pretty easy grind. The visual for it is pretty easy. Like, the hardest thing with it, that you will have to practice essentially, is just the jump timing on that one. That's the only thing you need to practice essentially. And the only thing like it really will affect is if you get 3 or 2 zombies back on that turn right there. It's not like you need to like perfectly execute this just to be able to get through this grind generally. I mean, you can still mess it up like half-assed and still get through. It is just that much more efficient than the old version. On average, maybe we reset 75% on the old version. On this one, on average, it might be 10-15%. The average on the old version was maybe 130 to 140 heart drops, maybe 160 if you got lucky. On this one, I mean, you will on average get at least 160. So there's a huge difference in the amount of hearts that you get from these. Likewise, 80% and 100% have a different grind version. 100% used to have a skeleton grind, which is slower because of the added lag frames for it. But this version has proven to be so efficient that it will most likely be the proper version to grind even for 100%. Burb has managed to almost max out the heart count on this grind alone. The max heart count is 256. I know the 100% runners, I believe, need like 210 or something like that. And I mean, you're probably gonna have to reset a few times just to reach that number, but it's actually a much more efficient way compared to the skeleton grind because you don't get lag frames from this, and it is efficient enough that it actually will pull you through most of the times. So that's what we can mention about that. Now, on the offside, that you also might get enough that you might actually be able to get, say, 200 hearts or so. You can actually, in Heart Mansion, once I get there. There we go. So, say you have a really efficient grind, and with the old version, this was a rare occurrence indeed. This happened maybe once on 8,000 attempts. It just was never a thing. But with the old version, new version, once you collect this one and jump down here, instead of dropping down with this drop here that we used to, if you still have 50 hearts at this point, which is actually a fairly common thing these days, you can jump up here and do a drop instead. And as you land here, speak to this guy and get your second oak stake here. Take a hit on the spikes, and that's gonna happen. The spike hit is gonna happen. So take a note how much damage they deal and make sure you have HP for it. But this is so viable with a new grind. This is happening maybe half of the time that you get through the grind. And the damage taken here also is not necessarily an issue, because with the added hearts you also get added XP. So it's very, very common these days that you will get an early level up pre-Rib Mansion. And in taking the second oak stake here, you will completely skip this buyer in Rib Mansion. So you don't have to go here, and you don't need to take that oak stake here anymore. And so in skipping that completely, you save like 8 seconds or so. So the route then comes down to, you're going down here, as normal. And then you touch the stairs and do the drop. And if you fail it, of course, touch it again. And there we go. And then once you collect the rib, you purchase the oak stakes in Death Mansion as normal. Right, and we have a new quick kill setup for Dracula. JC came up with this one, and Burb came up with an update on the old one he had. I already made a video on the old versions. So, worth mentioning, this pixel right here works. There are 2 pixels that will work for these 2 versions. This is one of them. And you can see there is 1 pixel of black space behind my foot, or if you prefer, you can use the black pixels surrounding the front of my toes there. And then this pixel also works. Again, you can use whatever visual you want. Just pause the video and check it. The easiest method, if you want to align yourself in a version that works properly, so you come from this side right here, there. So you see that 1 pixel gray square in front of my back foot there. Crouch, turn, and you have the pixel for it. So that's a very easy alignment generally. But just pause the video and do whatever. So once you are in this position, you have 2 options. And this is the one that Burb came up with, which I never use. He just thinks it's easier for him, so we are just gonna showcase it. But it is pretty hard to pull off, if you ask me. I do essentially have the kill there, it's just I can't get the timing properly right now. There we go. Easy peasy. So that's the Burb setup, the new version he came up with. Worth mentioning, the scythe deals 6 damage to you. You have 16 HP, so you can afford taking 2 of those if you have full health. Now, the other version, the one JC came up with, I wanna toss the first water when I see the second scythe out. You can wait a little bit longer, like to approximately here. There's quite a lot of leeway. The first toss is just to stun him. It's not frame perfect by any means. And once I have him stunned, I just keep tossing at it. I mean, pretty much average speed. It's not like you need to delay it, like so, and risk having him get out of it. That you definitely don't delay it. If anything, you need to speed it up ever so slightly to find the right pixel, or frame rather, to kill him, as such. And so that's the AC version of it. What I like about that one is that for 95%, and I say 95 because we got proven wrong the other day, but that generally, there's no RNG in this. You will always have him stunned here. But we did have 1 occurrence where he actually did not get stunned. I believe in JC's current PB, he's 32-36. He teleported out like right away, and he never got stunned there, so I don't know what's up with that. That's an extremely rare AI pattern that I've never seen before, JC never had seen before. And I can pretty much safely assume that we've done this like 500 attempts on different save states with different so-called patterns or RNGs. And that's the 1 time he has done something else that just affects this stun. So I don't know what's up with that. That's some super rare AI shit on his pattern. But generally you will always have the stun. And this stun as like as far as you toss with correct timing, like in between like the second and third scythe here, you will always get that stun. Don't worry about what pixel he's done that. You don't even need to pay attention to that shit. He's always gonna get stunned in the same spot. So the kill is always gonna work there, and the kill works for both of your pixel stances. Now, if you do fuck this up and he cuts loose, you will take the body contact damage. That's 10 damage as compared to the scythe that does 6. So with the scythe, you can get hit by 2 and they deal 12 out of your 16 health. But if you take the 10 from the body contact here, you can't take anything else. You're dead regardless. So you need to really nail that kill. Otherwise you're in for deep shit. If you are also uncertain of the timing generally, if you just can't seem to get him, like despite how many tosses you throw here, or if you just plain hit you, you can revert to this old method here. You can try to get him from this side of the room. It's still not recommended, obviously, because that still opens up the RNG again, which is what we want to avoid, trying to go for this kill instead. But if you, for whatever reason, feel more secure with this or whatever, and that pixel actually can kill him too, but you can revert back to this one. So there are a couple of options. You can see my old video and you can refer to this one. It basically comes down to individual preference, what you want to do. But it is completely timing based for the kill frame, so to speak. But now we can actively stun him and actually try to go for it to kill. Before it was like, oh shit, okay, fuck, that didn't lock him. Yeah, okay, where is he? He teleports too fast, I can't find him, god damn it, he hit me, the fucking RNG, shit, I can't find him, god damn mother. That's not thing anymore. That is completely gone. We can stun him right away. And in doing so, we have this shot at killing him straight up. No fucking around, no RNG. The rest of it is just skill, execution, practice, timing. But it is on you as a player. You can actually actively learn and practice it. This is why I prefer this current method. And likewise, it's no damage. If you can pull it off, it's no damage. For the other strats, you generally have to take an intentional death going in, just so you have refilled HP going for what strat you want to. But with this one, you don't have to think about it. But again, individual preference. All I can say is quick kill Dracula with the Holy Water is now RTA viable. Before it was just complete bullshit RNG. That's gone. That is completely gone. I recently PB'd with this method. JC recently PB'd with this method. It does save time. On average, this is a 15-second kill. Whipping him is approximately 25 to 30. And if you opt for dagger, that's maybe like 40 to 45 seconds. And I mean, if you're like god at finding the frame kill pixel as well, you can get him in 2 water tosses. I'm not that good yet, but I've seen JC do it in 2 tosses, and he's dead in like 3-5 seconds. It's crazy. So this is gonna be the way to deal with Dracula. I think whip killing right now is pretty much a backup. If dagger strat is completely outdated, and even if you were to opt for dagger strats because you don't feel like whip or holy water killing is up for you, I mean, you do have a backup if you don't have the dagger, the horse for it, so to speak. But this is more of a competitive kill. This is definitely not something I would recommend for newbies by any means. That being said, I mean, this version is very friendly to practice. This is something you can learn, even as an average player. Give it a couple of tries. I do. At least I would advise you to try it out a few times. It's still, risky because he can cut loose, but I like it. I like it. That is it for the quick kill and the new grind. The new grind is officially replacing whatever version we used prior. This quick kill, in my opinion, is the best so far.